Welcome to A Show with Angela Grant. Thank you all for being here yet again. I am excited to be with you today, and I'm excited about our guest. You know me, I just jump right in. I don't need to belabor anything. My guest today is a longtime friend, church member, somebody that I just admire for all that he's been through and the fact that he comes out on top every single time. I know that you will be fixed and leaned into this story. He has a book out, and it speaks volumes, literally, to who he is and to all that he's overcome. Without further ado, Daniel Drumwright, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. I felt esteemed.
You are esteemed. Okay.
Okay.
You are who you are, and you are esteemed, and you're an amazing person. So I'm just happy that you came to my show. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. My first male guest, so that is big. Okay, get some little bit of diversity in here.
Yeah. Just set the tone.
Set the tone for him. Okay. So tell us a little bit about you. You know, born and raised Nashville, Tennessee, of course.
Absolutely.
Clearly.
Grew up in Antioch area. Most of my family is from the North Nashville area and South Nashville areas. So spent a lot of time in those areas, getting roughed up a little bit to kind of, get me out of that suburban edge that I had. Mm-hmm. But grew up playing sports, and that's where I really learned to kind of build my confidence, stepping out of that comfort zone of just being, just an everyday kid. And I think that those things have really kind of helped set me up to endure some of the challenges that I have had, but more than anything, have some of the support that I have. Because many of my friends still to this day, I've met at the ages of 4, 5, 6, just being involved. Being involved has been something that, now that I've overcome so much of what I've gone through, it's been something that I have attached myself to because it brings normalcy, and it brings me a way to connect with my friends, but especially like my family, my kids, and just introducing them to the things that I have found solace in and excitement in, and just been therapeutic. Went on to Tennessee State University after graduating from Antioch. Played football for a brief period of time there. Went through the death of my mom, which really changed the trajectory of my life for a while. And during the college years, kind of went through, I call it fog, where I'm just trying to get back to feeling like I feel. And you go through a number of experiences during those ripe ages from 18 to about whenever, really, mid-20s. And I really found myself trying to attach myself back to what I considered normalcy, but I also realized at some point that I have to now not let go of my mother's memory, but I have to learn to continue to propel through life through that challenge of not having her there to support me and some of the things that I really wanted to. And then young adulthood comes, navigating work and friendships and relationships, and boom, you start to realize like adulting is not fun.
Not at all.
So all those things then lead up to you finally getting to a place where it's acceptance, right? I gotta work hard to get there. And that has been really the thing that has helped anchor me in a lot of ways, is knowing that if I do the work, I get results. So
amen to that. You said a lot, and I wanted to try to pull little nuggets from what you said, but even you used normalcy twice. I did hear you say normalcy. And some people try to say, especially after a grief experience like the loss of your mother, and once we dive into a lot of what your book is about, we'll talk about that experience and what it means to be normal.
Yes.
Because it seems like a simple word, right? But what does normalcy really mean?
Normalcy, I think, in a lot.
What does it mean for you?
Well, for me, it's just being comfortable in whatever the environment is, and knowing that you can maneuver through it. And so normalcy doesn't always mean that everything is good. Sometimes people exist in a lot of chaos, and chaos becomes normal for them. Um, my wife is somebody who thrives in, I won't say chaos the way it may, come off as, but she can hop up and get to everything she needs to get to, take care of everything she needs to take care of, and hit the door. That ain't me. That is not me. And I was very structured. Long when I would say in a past life when I was a single guy and not in fatherhood, I would say that, not having to adjust to what I consider my new normal is. But I had a place I put my wallet, my keys, everything, right? And so I can do those same things and go back and be like, why is my stuff not there? Why? Because the normalcy now is that I got a 3-year-old that touches everything. Yeah. So the chaos is kind of like, I have to control it. It has to be controlled chaos. And some people can't. So for me, normalcy is just learning how to navigate through whatever environment and being comfortable knowing that while things might not always be as you want them to, I can still be progressive. I can still be, I'm able to, achieve what I need to, do what I need to do for myself and for others.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, and that makes sense because your normal has to reinvent itself, right?
Yes.
And you've been through a lot of reinvention.
Yes.
And I mean, just from what people consider everyday life or life to be, fatherhood, going through college, losing somebody, and eventually losing parts of yourself. Yeah. And so it's interesting that people want to get back to normal, but you've got to find a new normal every time.
Absolutely.
Yes. So I think it's interesting that you said normalcy twice in describing going through life. And it's like, that's just...
So honestly, normalcy is kind of being able to adjust to abnormalcy. And then allowing that to become something that doesn't cause fear or doesn't put you in such a place where the anxiety becomes overwhelming. I think we exist in anxiety sometimes. It's just natural to be like, oh crap, like that's happened. Oh man, I gotta adjust to that. And then saying, I got it, right? And so the normalcy part becomes not necessarily being okay with chaos, but understanding that something's going to happen, and the normalcy part is being able to adjust in the moment or taking time to adjust in those moments and then saying, okay, let me find the strength to keep going.
Right. Yeah. Allowing yourself to process what's happening and then saying, okay, this is maybe how I can move in this way, or I need to take a step back so I can reassess the situation. And then we can move forward and proceed.
Absolutely. And I know you have a lot of experience in adjusting to new normals as well. So,
Indeed. Yeah. Indeed. I mean, that's what the show is about. I want people to understand that grief happens and we don't have to let grief take over us. Just because we lose something doesn't mean we have to lose ourselves. Right. And even though we need to, there are parts of ourselves that probably do need to get lost, that don't serve us in the season that we might be in. However, we don't have to lose a sense of self of what it is that we could become based on what the grief experience did to us.
Yeah.
I hope that made sense.
That did make sense. I also kind of apply it to this points in our lives where we look at ourselves maybe 3-5 years from now, and we say, that's where I'm going to be. And then you get 3 to 5 years, and you're like, I'm still not that person yet.
I'm still not that person. I still ain't conquered that mountain.
Yeah.
Right.
And then assessing where you are and how close you are, if you have even made any progress getting there.
Yeah.
Being able to look at yourselves and say, despite what I have or have not attained yet or accomplished yet, and say, you know what, I'm still doing all right. becomes a part of that acceptance and that normalcy thing. It's just being like, it's okay to not conquer every mountain, but it's not okay to just drop the ball and give up. Yes, you might divert and go somewhere else. You might have thought you would be doing this, but you're not doing that, but you're doing something, right?
Right.
And you're doing it. You're doing it. Like, you're not just in it, just letting it marinate all around you. You're doing it, right? And that's okay. And that's good. That's actually good because that gives us the ability to, again, challenge ourselves, but it's the adjustment part.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Right. I'm big on grace and compassion right now. And that's for self.
Now.
Right now, I'm just saying in this season, I've been talking a lot about grace and compassion. I'm sure I said it the last episode, like I just say it a lot. So I'm big on saying it in everything. Like when people are like, what do I do? I'm like, give yourself grace and compassion. Because in order to give yourself grace and compassion, you can give it to others.
Yeah.
And so even that word that you keep saying is acceptance. I think sometimes we accept a situation, not realizing we need to accept ourselves for wherever we are within that situation. And so I think that's just important to be able to accept where you are, even if you aren't at the next level. You're not where you used to be. Yeah. And just being happy that you saying 3 to 5 years down the line, well, I'm 3 to 5 years further than I was then. Even if I haven't attained it, at least I've moved towards it. So I think that is also what that acceptance is, and understanding that.
Actually, I'm going to take that because it's almost like, the way you explain it, it's almost like a 2-layer thing. Like acceptance is not just being okay where you are, but it's being okay knowing that no matter where you gotten to or how far you've gotten, like, you're doing better than where you were before. So it's definitely grace on yourself. And that, I think it's easier for us as people to have grace on other people than it is to have grace on ourselves. For most of us.
Right. I was like, well, some people don't have grace
some
for
people
anybody.
Right. Yeah, so.
There's no grace for a lot of things for some people, but it is easier for us to be like, oh, well, that person, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But for me, I should have done better. I know better. We're very, very critical of ourselves. And it's like, how would you speak to your best friend? Yeah. How would you speak to your child? How would you speak to, anybody you love? And why would you do that to yourself and not speak to them in the same way?
So I have a question to you about grace then, because do you think grace and forgiveness are, I know they're kind of parallel, but do you think they are the same thing? Like,
I think you need grace in order to get to forgiveness, if that makes sense. I think grace is on the road to forgiveness.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense. And anybody can challenge me on that. You asked me a question and I had to think about it in the moment, and I'm going to say, I think grace is on the way to forgiveness.
I would agree with you. I feel like there is a level up from grace when you get to forgiveness, because you can forgive others, but can you forgive yourself for getting there? Like, I've learned that also. Like, I've had been in situations with people and they took me there, and I'm a pretty even-headed person. But I'm also, like, incredible hope. Once I get there, it's like, forgive me on the back end or whatever. So, like, but I've had situations where I've gotten with people and I'm able to forgive them for what happened. But I'm not necessarily able to forgive myself for even getting to the point where we had that mess up. And that is something that I'm now in the new season of learning about. Like, like, forgive yourself. Like, let go of it. Like,
right.
I'm very hard on myself. So I've always been that way. I've always been like, I could have done that. I could have done this. I could have done that. Which, I could have, but also, like, don't get so deep in the weeds on it that you start to not forgive yourself or not be able to move forward and keep thriving. So, so.
There is a definition of forgiveness that I'm trying to think of. It is to basically giving yourself the ability to not live in the pain of yesterday. Like, don't live in it.
Yeah.
And so even if that pain came from yourself, if that pain came from somebody else, like give yourself the grace and ability to not live in the pain. We didn't know better 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
You know, now we do. And it's okay. Like, I know Maya Angelou says, when you know better, you do better. Sure. That's where grace comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's seesawing. And there's taking step back. You know, like you 2 step forwards, 2 step back, like Paul Abdul said.
Opposites attract.
Opposites attract. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I threw it back.
Yeah.
Everybody knows how old I am, and that's fine. Because I'm happy with it. Okay. But I think that's the ability to, sometimes there's people that I'm like, oh, I'm cool with them today. And then other times I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like it. Like, I don't feel like being cool. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with whatever space I'm in, whatever that means. Then I need to look at myself, reassess, hey, what's happening with me? What am I feeling? Why do I feel that way? Are there other factors in play?
She chose violence.
Right. Right. Did somebody else piss me off? And then now I'm feeling that from that. And I remember when. And so then I have to figure out, okay, what else is going on that I'm feeling a certain type of way today? And that I wasn't feeling yesterday. You know, did I come across something? I don't know.
Yeah.
On the feed or whatever, somebody said, let's roll out. And I was like, all right, let's go. You know, I don't know. But I know I have to give myself grace and compassion constantly to get to that place of full forgiveness. Right?
Yeah.
And I feel like people think forgiveness is like, I have to forgive that person, when you just have to forgive the situation. Forgive yourself. You know, forgive the moment that it was in, and then allow that person the grace. Be like, you know what, that's how they were. Don't take it personally. You know, in the 4 Agreements, one of the agreements, book by Don Miguel Ruiz, is don't take anything personally. Like, be able to give somebody love without expecting it back.
Mm.
Because that's what I tend to say. Like, my job is I'm just here to love you. I don't necessarily have to have it back. If you give it back, that is a gift. But if you don't, then just accept this. Accept it like I give you a glass of water. I don't want that water back. You're going to consume it. Hopefully it'll be refreshing to your soul. And you'll be like, oh man, thanks, Angela, for that glass of water. You know? And so that's how I feel like I'm doing a better job of learning how to love that way, which to me is the unconditional love.
Yeah.
You know? Like, what is your job on this earth to do?
Yeah, they're not expecting anything in return. Like, I think, at least for myself, like, I don't expect anybody to give me anything. If I do something, it's from the kindness of my heart.
I know you don't. You don't accept help.
That's a whole...
I love you, friend.
That's a whole other conversation.
But no, you don't accept help.
Go ahead and just put it right there.
No, I'm not even trying to, but I have other people that have been on the show that don't accept help either. Yeah. And that's because we are helpers. Yeah. We are givers. We pour in. Mm-hmm. And so it's hard for us. So it's a little jab at myself too. Yeah,
which kind of takes us into the book.
It does take us into the book. That's where I was getting. Yeah.
Yeah, I already knew. I was like,
we got to get into the book some kind of way. I didn't know how I was going to segue, but, it worked out. Yeah. But let's talk about revision. I listened to it. I wanted to listen to it because you were telling me about how, you use the voices of the AI to do the different voices. So I really wanted to, do that because I'm usually a page turner. I like to highlight and all that. And I highlighted one thing because I had to go back into the book, or like you said, you drop a lot of nuggets. You drop a lot of good nuggets. But, and we'll get to it near the end because it is at the end of the book. But yeah, so tell us a little bit about revision. Tell us about the story of restoration and redemption.
So revision it captures a period in my life, really about a 2-year period, but starts when, things are great. Mm-hmm. And I had, at the time, just changed jobs. Went from working in the mayor's office. Went from working at Tennessee Lottery into the mayor's office. I was just starting grad school. I met my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife.
Great pants.
That worked out. So, but life was good. And then I started having these issues with my right eye. just really blurry vision. I go to an eye doctor. They say you have swelling of your retina, and that starts to, unpack some past history. I've been diabetic since I was 13 years old, and so when I had the blurry vision, they saw the swelling on my retina. They said, "Hey, we need to go see a specialist." The specialist says it's diabetic retina inflammation, and we're just gonna do these minor procedures and get you back on track. And lo and behold, they did something to help me, fix the problems with my right eye, an injection, a light laser to prevent any problems with my left eye. And over the span of a month and a half, I started losing my vision, and no one could really pinpoint why until I woke up totally blind a month after my 30th birthday. And the eye doctor says that get those small procedures. We don't know what's going on. Your issues were very minor. You should have been all the way in healing mode, but there's something got to be going on with your blood. And lo and behold, about a week later, I was diagnosed with leukemia. And so cancer of the blood. So he was absolutely right. So revision captures that period of my life where I go through blindness, the surgeries afterwards, being diagnosed with leukemia, so the treatments for that, pre-existing diabetic condition, changes galore from not being able to work to obviously being totally blind, depression, and then doubts about my once promising future. And it's a roller coaster of emotions because while I want to stay hopeful, I start to miss out on these moments in my life, and I start to recognize that I'm not the same person, especially after 6 months of eye surgeries and healing and finally having a little bit of sight, and I don't know what I can see, and then I get fitted with these glasses I thought they were going to be magical. And I will say, these lenses are much thinner, much thinner. The ones I had before then, when they say Coke bottle, boy,
you said Lil Daryl.
Lil Daryl, that is actually a chapter in the book. Lil Daryl, that's what I look like. And I was like, oh my goodness. But I got fitted with these glasses, and the excitement went away almost immediately, and that's where the real story kicks in. Yes, going blind and being treated for leukemia and, being out of work and all the eye surgeries and doctor's visits, all of that stuff was a lot. But getting to that point where I realized I wasn't the same person, at least not physically, that took me into this spiral of questioning myself, of the depression, of not feeling like the person that I had always thought I was, to feeling like I was missing out on something in life, and that impacting my relationships even. So, and then there is a point of acceptance where I go through this moment where it's almost like a light bulb comes off, and that from that point, I get back on solid ground. Because you hit rock bottom. We talk about rock bottom and what that looks like for a lot of people. And it looks different for a lot, but I felt like I hit rock bottom right after I got fitted with my glasses. But then I went deeper. And so the sunken places where I was, where it was like nothing anybody said stuck. Nothing I thought positive about myself, I felt reinforced on. And it wasn't that I wasn't getting reinforcement. It was that I wasn't able to accept where I was. And I wasn't able to say, I'm okay if I have to work to get out of this. I just thought I was going to go back to normal. And when I realized that normal was going to be a new normal, I had to get on this path of, getting to acceptance. But before I got there, I kind of went lower. So the moment that I got back on solid ground and was able to move forward, really started me relearning who I was and being actually open to the challenges that I would face afterwards. And I will say this, like everything that I've learned about myself since then has been almost like a reevaluation of who I was, or who I thought I was, or who I thought I could be in the past. I realized all this has really empowered me. I wouldn't have these opportunities. I wouldn't be on your show today. Maybe I would. Maybe it'd be a different content.
Right.
You never know. But I think that everything I've gone through now is giving me something to share in a way that people are like, it gets their attention now.
Yeah, most
You
definitely.
say, I was blind and, I got leukemia, I got all this stuff. And they like, you were damn near dead, man. Like, I've never met one of you before. Nice to meet you. Like, this is crazy. Like, and I'm like, you don't look like what I thought somebody who's gone through would look like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the point. It's being able to just say, hey, I got all this stuff and I wear it better than most people probably would expect somebody to. But that's the power in it too.
Right. No, very true. And I mean, you did a really good job of just giving us a little synopsis of the book. But when I tell you he went there in the most powerful way, like I think, and I don't want to give anything to because you're saying things and I'm like, oh yeah, that part. Oh yeah, that part. But I do want to say this because you have bouts with suicidal ideation twice within the book. A lot of anger, a lot of rage, even towards people who are pouring life into you, who are speaking scripture to you, who are saying words of encouragement. And you're like, I don't want to hear that. Yeah. And honestly, those are the moments that I smiled in the book because people are afraid to be so authentic and so raw and so honest. And you go there with so much passion. And so, and I think, and because I know you, because I know you, I was very like, oh my God, like my friend, but I was grateful to be your friend, to see you go through all of that, to not know every single detail, but to know that you come out on top and to know that you can write as raw and as honest about all of that people are like, no, I stayed hopeful, or I'll be fine with prayer, or thank you for your words of encouragement. That helps. No, it didn't help. Nothing helped. And the important thing is, until you can do it for yourself, everybody else falls flat.
Yes. Yeah.
Until Daniel was like, you know what? Yeah, I have a village, but I got to pour into myself. Yeah. I got to get back to feeling like I used to. I got to work out for myself. I got to do it myself, which is part of the reason why you don't accept help, because you're like, hey, I need to do it for myself so I can feel the Daniel that felt normal, like you say, so I can get back to that to my tip top of my game. And you did in a way that is like beautiful and powerful for you to now be a husband and a father and an author, music producer, all your dreams are seemingly manifesting, even if they're slower than they used to be. But you have this powerful story.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Hearing you say all that right there too, I often have these moments where I kind of dip back into that embodiment, especially when I have to, when I have these moments where I talk about the book and when I start to remember everything that I put in the book, because it was, as you've written the book and how you share your story and how you share what you're going through, the pain, how it is to write it down and say, oh, I'm having to go back into that space, that moment of time where it's like, golly, I was messed up, and then some other words, four letter, really, and there were times where I just had to stop writing, just go. It took so long. It took much longer to put out the book than I thought it would, because I really it started becoming just poetry and music, and I started going back and looking at some of the things I was writing and saying in these videos, and I was like, kind of am telling my story. So I just started to take those stories and writings and put them together and say, okay, so that was right about 2018. It didn't come out to 2025. So,
right.
Yeah. And so there were some other caveats to that. But it took a minute for me to not only get everything out that I thought this could be a book, and this is what I feel comfortable sharing with. Nah, this is what I feel needs to be shared.
Yeah.
Because I had to dig deeper on a couple of things. The suicide, there's even a moment that I don't talk about. And because it's still, even to this day, I'm not sure that I'm prepared to talk about that. But there's another moment where suicide really was much closer to me than I wanted to admit at that time.
Right.
And I didn't share it because that one was still one I was still trying to unpack, because I felt not just, down and out. I felt guilty for even going there. And so I've gotten to a point where I'm like, okay, give yourself grace. Forgive yourself for that. But it's a moment that I've only talked about with like two people, one being my therapist, one being a very close friend, family member, and they know, but I have yet to even share it with Brandy. And it's not something I'm trying to keep from her, but it's also something that I'm an emotional person. So I know when it opens up, it's going to be emotional. So, and I've been wrestling with that too. Right. Like, am I going to share that with her? Well, she's probably going to watch this. So at some point in the near future,
that's all right.
I'm going to be like, well, yeah, here it was. But maybe one day I feel comfortable, and I feel like that is the thing that really helps other people. Those moments really help. So when I talk crazy to about the lady in the eye doctor at the she's, she's not trying to help me, but I wasn't trying to hear it.
She was not helpful.
She was not, and
for you, right?
And I was like, shoot, you catch these 4 letters and get about my face.
Okay, I mean, it be like that sometimes. Okay,
yeah,
I get it.
So absolutely, but yeah, being able to reflect on all of that, it is, again, it reminds me, dang, I've done okay. I've done all right, and I'm still figuring it out, and that's all right. I'm in my 40s now, and I ain't got it all together. That's all right.
That's all right.
Yeah.
But you said so many things. So you said it took you started writing a book in 2018, and it didn't come out until 2015?
2025.
What did I talking about? 2025. Wish we could cut that, but we can't. Yeah, because I have a lot of thoughts in my head because you said so many things. So 2018 to 2025, people need to understand that they can be on a journey.
Yes.
And they can even start it.
Yes.
And it can get sidetracked, as we talked about. Yeah. And we can have to maneuver or pivot. But you came back. Yeah. And you kept writing. And you now have a published book. And you're kind of on a press circuit, talking to different people, going on different podcasts and shows and things like that. But you came back to it. I think that's the beautiful thing about you being in this seat, in my presence, that you can say, I have a therapist as a man, as a Black man, that there were some hard times that I had, suicidal ideation, that I didn't feel as strong as I thought I should. I think people, men and women, need to hear that you went through this. This is powerful stuff, Daniel. Even beyond the book, because of the book, all of it. And then that you are a protector. The reason why you haven't told Brandy is because you're trying to protect her in a way. Yeah. Because even though you're an emotional person, she doesn't even want to see you go there, and you know that. Yeah. So you want to protect her from that part of it, possibly.
Well, the interesting thing is that I will definitely say I married the right person.
Oh, yeah.
I married the right person. And the reason I say that is because she don't cut me no slack. Now, she is dead when I say she don't cut me any slack. She doesn't allow me to sit in my moments. She will nudge me in ways that lets me know, she's doing this and I don't like this, but you know what? Thank you for doing it anyways, because I needed you to do that. She has definitely helped me just stay mindful of where I'm trying to get to, right? Right. And that a lot of that is internally. A lot of it is not even, I need to get to this tangible place. It is oftentimes just trying to get to a place of feeling confident and feeling value. And somebody can remind you of that, but until you start to feel what people are trying to remind you of, it doesn't sit in. So there's a journey to get to, but you need those people in your corner to keep pushing you forward. But you also, I had this opportunity, and I'm not switching topics at all.
That's fine.
I get to talking, but I've been again on the kind of a circuit. I've been able to do some public speaking engagements, and those mean a lot to me. I feel more comfortable being able, because it gives me a opportunity to be the silly, because that's why I'm this silly, goofy guy. I come with a lot of history and a lot of things that have gone on. But I got the opportunity to. They did this employee highlight at my work, at my job, and I was the first one. They asked me to do it first. They knew I put out a book. They seen me on, circuit on certain shows and stuff. They were like, we would like you to, come in and share with us, because we just think it would just, give people like something to, be really excited about, and just see that somebody they work with and see every day is doing these things. And most people don't even know that you have the challenges you have. And so I'm like, okay, cool. And so I did it really funny, because I got a lady in my office that's always giving me a hard time, but it's like out of love or whatever. Yeah. And so I did this big intro, and it's like, it's got this espionage music in the background and stuff, and I walk in and you see me like on this big picture, and I look like, something off of Mission Impossible walking down the aisle or whatever, but it was really kind of to break the ice. And then I started feeding into, who I am to the company, but also my background. And a few months before that opportunity, meeting with my therapist, and I had this voila moment that I share with all of them, and I'll share with you. But I realized that the thing that grounds me or helps keep me propelled in life is a moment that happened when I was 18 years old. It was right before a year before my mom passed away. And I had gotten her flowers for Valentine's Day. Well, the backstory is I was dating a young lady in high school. I'd gone to visit her and her family, took her to flowers, candies, everything. Was, had a good time, came home, and my mom was like, hey, where you been? She's sitting in front of the TV watching ESPN. My mom was a sports fan in my family. Okay. So she's watching ESPN. I'm like, yeah, went to, drop off flowers, candy. She was like, oh, okay. It'd be nice if you thought about your mama or whatever. And I'm like, my mom just didn't do that type of stuff. Whatever. She didn't assert herself to want anything, but she didn't know I had those flowers in my car waiting on her to give to her the next morning, because the next morning was actually Valentine's Day. Okay. So I go outside and I bring the flowers in. I say, well, you were supposed to get these in the morning because it's Valentine's Day. And just the look on her face, how happy it made her feel, how proud she was just to know that, my son thought about me. Right. I've held on. I've been trying to capture that moment for the last 22 years of my life. And I realize that's what makes me me. I know that my mom is extremely proud of everything that I've done up until this point, but more than anything, just enduring and coming out better at the end of the day. That is what I attach myself. That's what propels me. My family keeps me on track. My friends, my community, my environment, my tribe, my church, my friends, people that I've met throughout life, they keep me on track. But that moment right there, just knowing that if I wasn't doing my best, if I wasn't, trying to be the most genuine person I can, if I wasn't, propelling in life, she would not be having it. My mom would be like, nah, no, you gotta keep going. So I've been trying to capture that moment forever, just making my mama proud. Yeah. And so that is something that it has become much easier now to continue to move on in life, because I have identified what it is that has gotten me all through those different moments of life, from the death of my best friend to, even, just overcoming what I've gone through.
Right.
Now I know why. Like, dang, that's why I couldn't give up. Dang, that's why it was so hard for me to, while I'm having these suicidal thoughts, to actually say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I give up. Because I can't disappoint her.
Right.
She worked too hard for 18 years of my life that she was here to get me to that point. Can't give up for her.
Yeah.
So.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you, Mama. Dare I say you want to capture it. How can you capture something you already have?
I guess it's just trying to find a way to pull it out. Sometimes I don't think we as people, we look at ourselves and don't give us the graces that we give other people.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it's like you got to dig back inside yourself to say, I am enough. I've heard that so many times in the past, like just years. Like I don't know if that's been around for a long time.
It's like a cliche saying. It's like what people are saying these days. Yeah. I'm enough. I'm worthy.
I heard it one time, and then it was like being on T-shirts and everywhere, and I'm like, I can't even see that shirt. How I know it say that's enough? I'm enough. But seriously, it'd be everywhere.
It's everywhere.
But it is so needed and it's so real because we just don't.
We forget that we're enough.
Yeah, we forget we're enough, or we just can't let go of some of the things that make us doubt ourselves. So, yeah, 100%.
Well, I think your mama's proud of you.
Thank you.
I think you have captured it and are continuing to capture that provision from your mama. And I do want to pick up the book and read, of course, near the end. And it's very powerful, powerful statement. I think you know what I'm going to say or read, because I did see one of your other interviews and she loved this too. But it says, greatness comes from the most uncomfortable of circumstances and sometimes can only be realized by accepting the challenges in front of us. But greatness is not achieved by what you go through. It is achieved by the way you respond and what you're willing to give. Yeah. That's beautiful. And I think, don't fall down. I think people see grief as a negative thing. They see grief as something hard or something they want to avoid. And they don't realize that grief and greatness have a lot in common. You're right, they parallel. You don't know that you're great until you've triumphed, until you come out on the other side. Absolutely. And I believe you have come through and come out and you are rising to the top.
Oh, thank you. I think I'm still on the journey, but
you are.
But
mountains are high, and you can look down and be like, wow, that is far. Yeah. And you can still look up and be like, man, I've come this far. Yes. As opposed to, I'm not at the top. Like, man, I've come this far. Yes. It's that whole, is the glass half empty or half full? I'm just glad I still got something to drink. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Like, you know what? Yeah, that is it right there.
Right. I was like, why are we arguing? Yeah. I'm still drinking. Okay? Yeah. And I'm going to give me some more if I'm still thirsty.
Yep, go and pull up. We're going to keep this thing going.
Right, we're going to keep it going. Yeah. So, I thank you. I appreciate you. I honor you. You are awesome. Thank you for being on my show today.
Thank you for having me. This has been awesome.
Yes,
awesome.
I hope you have enjoyed yourself, and I hope you come back. We'll do something else. You said you got some other things in the works, maybe?
Yeah, I'll briefly mention it because when you say it out loud, it's almost like, I didn't say anything now, so I got to follow through. But musically, I've done a lot of things. And I had always wanted to kind of put something more of substance together in the past several years because I hadn't a long time. I think I speak to how music became like a therapy place for me. And I've started to kind of dig back into some old stuff that I've done and the writing and just creating me. It's been definitely therapy for me. But at some point, I think I'm going to actually do something with it and share it with the world.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think that it's less of any expectations there. I think it's just the book has been my story. I'll say this: the book tells my story, but music and that part of just poetry and writing and creating music, because I produce music, producing beats and stuff. That is the emotion, the raw emotion that I went through that you see in the story.
Okay.
I think I do a good job conveying it, but that form of art really is the energy that I was going through during that time. So maybe we'll have an opportunity to come back and talk a little bit more about this.
Right. That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Cool.
And the book is only a part of your story.
Yes.
It's literally a snippet of your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the totality. And I know music has been the majority of your life, along with sports, but I think music even more so, just based on what I know about you, what you said in the book, and all of that. And so
absolutely,
that's something you definitely want to share.
And something I do want to share, and it's something that I think I've been learning to give to my children now, because they love it. Bella's in piano lessons. Beckham loves hitting on the drums.
So yeah, a little band.
Yeah, we can start a little something and hit the road. You know how it goes. I can't drive, but we'll get there somehow.
No, we don't want you to do that. We don't want you to do that, but we'll get a driver. Okay, we'll get a bus, tour
there
van.
you go.
We're
going to get a GoFundMe to get started, because that stuff is expensive.
It is. It is.
But yes, it'll be up. Revision. You find it on Amazon.
Yeah, let's give us your handles and where we can find.
Absolutely. So Revision is available on Amazon. It's also available on all major platforms, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble. It is audiobook on Audible. If you want to reach me or get in contact with me, you can find me at Drumwright on the Beat on Instagram. Daniel Drumwright. You can just look me up on Facebook. My YouTube channel is Drumwright on the Beat as well. And there we go. And my website is www.danieldrumwright.com. Really easy for y'all,
I mean, you stay branded. That's the name. Daniel Drumwright. It's that easy. Thank you all for joining me on a show with Angela Grant. Just remember that normal is what you make of it, and you're going to have to reinvent yourself, and that's okay. That's a part of life. It's what makes life fun. It's what makes life inventive. It's what makes you a creator. So enjoy turning your pain into purpose and getting to the top and seeing that you've come a longer way than you thought you had. Join us next time. Thank you. I love you. Take care.